What's up, YouTube? We're back with another video, and yes, this video is going to be on how you can pass the Nclex the very first try. I also passed the LVN Nclex the first try, and I'm gonna give you guys the best tips that I can possibly give you, and I hope it helps you as well. A lot of this is a lot of sacrifice, and you willing to put in the work, right? Okay, so let's get straight into the video. First, I am an RN with my BSN, and also I was an LVN with my BSN. So let me just let's get started, and then I'll give you guys a background on my whatever story. Anyway, so the first thing I would like you guys to do is first study twice a day. All right, you're gonna separate your studies. In the morning, you're gonna wake up early. Wake your ass up, okay? And you're gonna do test questions. I suggest anywhere 60 to 75. I personally was shooting for 75 for my RN and 60 for my LVN. Personally, I ended up going eventually just doing 60 a day because I felt like 75 took me a long time. And then, okay, in the morning, you're going to get flashcards. Every question you get wrong, you're going to write on the flashcard and figure out why you got it wrong. The critical thinking about it, okay? The reason you got it wrong. There's a lot of, it's either you don't know the material or you just didn't understand it. But I need you to write a flashcard, because if you don't write it down and try to, and just say, oh, I'll get it right the next time, you probably won't get it right the next time because you don't understand why you got it wrong. Okay, that's what you're going to do in the morning. Okay, after you do 75 questions, that is pretty much should last around anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, because it takes a long time to knock those questions out. I mean, some people are faster, and you can then even better. Number two, you are going to study the material in the afternoon. There's a few test sites. For some reason, my computer stopped working right now, but I use Simple Nursing for my study materials. I'm not sponsored by Simple Nursing, but I always liked his material. He explains it really good. Or anyone you can use. There's RN Nursing. I don't know her name. I always forget. You can use that, but I use Simple Nursing. He explains all the material that's on the exam. That can be on the Nclex. And I want you guys to know this. The Nclex is a safety exam. And so in that sense, you need to study the materials that you're weak on. Don't focus too much on the material that you're strong on, and just brush it up on. And that should help you guys have a base, okay? Number three, okay, what I suggest you guys do now is, for you guys who are going to take it, go all in, man. Believe in yourself. That's the number three, is to believe in yourself through the test, okay? The test, it's really a mind game, and it could be draining. When I was in there, I took my test. For both exams, well, first exam, the RN, I went up to 150 questions, which was like the full amount of questions. I remember telling myself, I will pass, I will pass. I wrote down my paper, I will pass 3 times. I do want to suggest you guys is, even if you don't finish at 75 questions, doesn't mean you failed. If it keeps going past 75 like it did for me, just think positive. The computer's trying to, it's an adaptive exam. Remember this, adaptive exam. It's trying to figure out where you at. You might be passing, you might be failing a little bit, but you haven't failed yet. That's all that matters, okay? It means that you can still pass. Like I said, you can go all the way up to the end and still pass. Remember that. Okay, for my LVN, I stopped at 165 questions, okay? So don't feel bad. Don't feel discouraged. Be positive. If you need to take a break, you can step outside, but I didn't do that. I personally just took a 5-minute break on my thing, wrote down some positive that I can pass, and I did. I know that you guys can too, but you need to believe in yourself. Number 4, you need to go all in your studies. This is the most important. You need to sacrifice this and study. I don't care if you're working. I worked over 120 hours, 130 hours, sometimes 150 hours, 160 hours the most in 2 weeks as an LVN, and even going full-time nursing school, and still studied during that process after I finished nursing school for my Nclex, okay? I was literally, as I was working, when I had the opportunity to like a 5 minute, 10 minute break, I would pull out the book. I would go an hour early. So you need to make time for you guys who have kids and you say you have this, and this, you know, two in a sense, you still need to not have that reasoning, it be an excuse, and for you not be able to study. Okay, you need to figure out all the materials that you feel uncomfortable in. Okay, going back to the test questions, some sites that you can use UWorld, you can use Simple Nursing. They both have the same. In my personal opinion, I felt UWorld's questions were like really in depth and like just really difficult compared to the Nclex. I thought the Nclex was personally easy until then. But I didn't pass in 75, so obviously it wasn't that easy, right? But it was really difficult. I feel like UWorld's a lot harder than Nclex, but then at the same time, it does prepare you. Some of my classmates said UWorld helped. Some people said it didn't. So I guess you just need to find your exam. For me, I like Simple Nursing because I like that he has his videos in the bottom. And if you get it wrong, they explain why you got it wrong. I want to say something. The NCLEX exam is going to be on a few materials, okay? It's going to be on psych, isolations, you got to remember that, your PPEs, your Johnny and Johnny off, a little bit of math. And my math it was really easy. It was about MLs. It's going to be on injections. It's going to be on positioning. It's going to be on peds, OB, med surge, which is labs. And the labs, I do want to mention, you literally just need to know like the basic normal, because like mine, I remember had a question about BUN and creatinine, and the creatinine and BUN was so elevated. So they usually give you a question where like it's absurdly wrong, right? Or so that's why I want you guys to know the basics of that. Okay, now else it's going to be on crutches, walking down, and how to walk up, how to position, remember it's always two fingers. Also it's going to be on OB, med surge. You might get like a lot of isolation questions, especially I got a lot of isolation questions. Medications, meds, farm is hard for everybody. In my opinion, I didn't even know the the med question, and I've been in LVN for like 5 years prior to being an RN. And I was just like, wow, like I've never heard of this med. And I would just study the basic medications, but I would say that try to learn the endings, LOLs, your beta blockers, your pines, your vastatins, atorvastatin, like zols, zones, like your prenozones, or like so. That's one way to remember that. And like I said, man, believe in yourselves, man, because it's not easy. It can be a very difficult exam, but it's more of a mental game, and you will have to go all in your studies. You need to be studying. I would go to work an hour early, and I would study. A lot of my peers are like, man, like I knew you were passed, but I was studying. They saw me study. Like I wouldn't go out sometimes because, to be honest, I didn't really want to go out. I felt like I didn't deserve it. And this is the one time you need to buckle down and study hard. If you feel that you're weak on materials, then you need to figure it out how you can study harder. To be honest, because you need to be honest with yourself. Okay, number 2, the self exams that I took on the Simple Nursing and UWorld, I just want to mention, I failed both of those. I did shitty on both of them. Okay, so and I still was able to pass. So just make sure that it doesn't dictate whether you're gonna pass or not. I think it's a good way to figure out what you need to work on, but I wouldn't be too hard on yourself if you don't do good on that. Okay. All right, you guys. I hope that helped a lot. Sub, share, and like, and go follow the Instagram. All right, peace.